million. But now I'm gonna go ahead and make you piss blood now.
The upcoming clash between Canelo Alvarez and Edgar Berlanga has everyone wondering what will happen in the ring. As one of the most electrifying matchups in recent memory, everyone, from analysts to fighters, has weighed in on the outcome.
Like he really wants to, so he already called it, that for 8 rounds he's gonna put a beating on him. So I do see Canelo maybe winning by stoppage.
With Canelo's reputation as an all-time great and Berlanga's undefeated streak and knockout power, this fight promises to be a thriller. But while the bout seems straightforward, the predictions vary greatly, with some believing Canelo's experience will outshine Berlanga's raw talent, while others argue the young contender may shock the world. One of the most interesting perspectives comes from none other than Caleb Plant, a former opponent of Canelo's, and a man familiar with fighting at the highest level. When asked whether Berlanga could pull off an upset, Plant was quick to keep things realistic. "I don't see it," he said with confidence.
On that Canelo card, there's a guy that, granted, you're like, hey, if you don't get Canelo, I want to fight you, Edgar. He got the Canelo fight. So is there a possibility that you think Edgar can beat Canelo? Or
I mean, I don't see it, but anything's possible in the sport of boxing.
Despite acknowledging that anything is possible in boxing, he wasn't shy about stating his doubts. After all, Canelo has been in the ring with some of the most skilled fighters in the world and has consistently found ways to come out on top, whether through his brutal knockout power or tactical decision wins. According to Plant, Canelo's experience is the key factor here. Canelo has faced a who's who of boxing legends, from Gennady Golovkin to Sergey Kovalev, and even Caleb Plant himself. This wealth of experience has turned him into a nearly unbeatable force. "We've seen crazier things in this sport," Plant added, leaving room for the unpredictable nature of boxing, but his confidence in Canelo was clear. Despite his skepticism, Plant didn't completely dismiss Berlanga's potential. Berlanga is young, hungry, and known for his ferocious knockout power, which could pose problems for Canelo if the right moment presents itself. However, Plant sees Canelo's defensive skills and ability to adapt as too much for Berlanga at this stage in his career. Interestingly, Plant's comments also hinted at his future intentions. When asked if he would fight Berlanga after the Canelo bout, Plant didn't hesitate. "Oh yeah, we can make it happen after for sure," he replied. Now, a fight between Plant and Berlanga would certainly make for an exciting matchup, especially if Berlanga manages to push Canelo to the limit or even pull off the upset.
I'm sure we've seen crazier things, but no, I don't see it.
would you fight Edgar after the fight, or is this like...
Oh yeah, we can make it happen after, for sure.
But let's get to probably one of the best predictions we heard, and that was from Bernard Hopkins, who thinks Berlanga might piss blood in the ring. Hopkins, known for his no-nonsense style both inside and outside the ring, holds a much more brutal view on the upcoming bout between Canelo Alvarez and Edgar Berlanga. In his eyes, this fight is not going to end well for the young contender, and he didn't mince words about it. Hopkins, always direct, believes Canelo is out for blood, literally. Canelo's going to knock him out, no doubt about it. He'll do it in 5 or 6 rounds, maybe even sooner, Hopkins predicted. For Hopkins, the knockout isn't just a possibility, it's almost guaranteed. He sees Canelo's mentality and determination as the key factors that will lead to Berlanga's downfall. Canelo, Hopkins says, is serious when that bell rings, and once he's motivated, there's no stopping him.
But if you're asking me, Bernard, who you going for if you had to put money down? Canelo all day.
Hopkins didn't stop there. He believes that Berlanga's biggest mistake may have already been made before stepping into the ring by underestimating Canelo. "You know the worst thing he did to Canelo? He energized him," Hopkins explained. In his view, Berlanga's confidence and talk in the lead up to the fight have only fueled Canelo's fire, turning what could have been a professional contest into something much more dangerous for Berlanga. "Sometimes you just keep your mouth shut, and maybe the guy won't beat you up that bad," Hopkins said with a knowing tone, warning that Berlanga's brave display might have sealed his fate.
We'll give you the beating of your life.
You know the worst thing he did to Canelo? He energized him to destroy him.
For Hopkins, this fight isn't personal for Canelo, but it's about sending a message. Canelo's going to give him the beating of his life, Hopkins added, implying that Berlanga will walk away from this fight with more than just a loss. He'll be lucky to walk away at all. In Hopkins' words, Canelo has shifted his mindset from simply winning to delivering a brutal lesson. He was just gonna beat him up and get his $30 million, but now he's gonna make him piss blood. That's the level of punishment Hopkins believes is coming for Berlanga. It's not just about Canelo proving he's the superior fighter. It's about making sure Berlanga knows it every step of the way. For Hopkins, the outcome is clear, and it's a harsh one. Berlanga is stepping into a fight that will not only end with a knockout, but with a devastating, career-altering beating at the hands of a Canelo who has no plans of taking it easy.
You know, sometimes you just keep your mouth shut and a guy don't beat you up that bad, and it just make you have the fight, give you the career to fight another fight one day. You know, you live to fight another day. That type of mentality that, you know, you heard that before. It's an old saying.
Well, if you thought Bernard is interesting, Robert Garcia has a more unique take on the fight. While most of the boxing world has been focused on the technical aspects of the fight, Garcia brought attention to something equally important: the psychological side of things and how it's playing out in the press conferences. He believes that the interactions leading up to the fight could significantly influence the action in the ring. Garcia found Canelo's behavior in the pre-fight build-up to be out of character, but in a way that could sell the fight even more. It was funny. I didn't see that in Canelo, but it was fun, Garcia said, referring to a moment where Canelo showed a bit of attitude, something fans rarely see from the normally serious and reserved champion. Canelo, known for his business-like approach to boxing, caught everyone's attention when he started giggling during one of the face-offs, which Berlanga interpreted as disrespect. According to Garcia, this rare glimpse of Canelo's playful side could be part of the strategy to ramp up the tension and sell the fight.
It was funny. Yeah. It was funny. I didn't see that in Canelo. You know, fucking around, all that shit. But it was fun. It was fun. You know, it caught people's attention because we don't expect that from Canelo. You know, he doesn't fuck around like that.
Garcia speculated that Berlanga's aggressive attitude at the second press conference, where he was more vocal and animated, may not have been entirely natural. They probably told him, "You gotta be a little more vocal so we can sell this fight," Garcia said, implying that the young fighter may have been encouraged by his team to stir things up. This makes sense considering Berlanga is stepping into one of the biggest fights of his career, and the added heat could help build the hype. However, Garcia is quick to point out that despite all the talk, the fight itself will come down to one thing: power. Both fighters have knockout intentions. "I think Canelo should win by knockout," Garcia predicted, confident in Canelo's ability to finish the fight early. He mentioned how Canelo has sometimes held back in recent fights, particularly against opponents like Dimitri Bivol, where he didn't push as hard for the knockout as many expected. But this time, Garcia sees things differently. Canelo's taking it a little more personally. He already called it. He's going to put a beating on him for 8 rounds.
First press conference was very serious, very respectful. The second one, Berlanga was like, "Yo, I'm gonna knock you out." And
so the first one was very respectful?
First one was very respectful.
Garcia believes Canelo's experience and strength will be too much for Berlanga to handle. The knockout prediction for him is almost a given. But what makes Garcia's view more interesting is the emphasis he places on how both fighters are handling the mental game. He believes Berlanga's attempt to fire up the fight might backfire, as it seems to have lit a fire in Canelo to deliver an even more punishing performance. Garcia sees Canelo not just going for the win, but aiming to make a statement with a stoppage or knockout that leaves no doubt about his dominance. Eddie Hearn has a more calculated and optimistic perspective on the upcoming fight between Edgar Berlanga and Canelo Alvarez. While the odds may heavily favor Canelo, Hearn views this bout as an invaluable opportunity for Berlanga, a chance that cannot be ignored regardless of the challenges involved. For Hearn, this fight represents more than just a shot at titles. It's a moment where Berlanga can elevate his career to new heights.
At the moment, so Edgar Berlanga is the mandatory challenger. He's an undefeated Puerto Rican fighter that will come to fight. He's a big puncher, and he'll come to win that fight. I think he'll be a great fighter.
Hearn describes Berlanga's matchup with Canelo as a dream shot and acknowledges the magnitude of the opportunity. "You never know if you're ready for a fighter like Canelo Alvarez until you get in there," Hearn admitted in an interview with DAZN. Canelo, who is considered one of the sport's elite, presents a daunting challenge for any fighter, and Hearn is well aware of the risks involved. However, he also sees it as a pivotal moment for Berlanga to prove himself on one of the biggest stages in boxing. At 27, Berlanga has built a reputation as a fierce competitor, with a knockout power that has helped him stay undefeated thus far. His most notable victory came earlier this year when he stopped Padraig McCrory in 6 rounds. which earned him the WBA's mandatory challenger position at super middleweight. And to Hearn, this mandatory status was the key factor in landing the Canelo fight, and he believes Berlanga had no choice but to take it. When you get the opportunity as mandatory, you've got to take it, Hearn emphasized.
And, you know, we love the fight. We thank them for the opportunity. I'm delighted that Edgar gets, obviously, the payday, but also the opportunity to become world champion. That's what we wanted him to get.
Hearn is quick to point out that while Berlanga could have faced other high-profile fighters, such as Jaime Munguia or Christian Mbili, those fights didn't materialize. In his view, this makes the fight with Canelo even more crucial for Berlanga's career. There isn't a lot in the gap between both fighters, Hearn said, expressing confidence in his fighter's ability to rise to the occasion. He knows that Canelo is an overwhelming favorite, but he also believes in Berlanga's heart, determination, and ability to perform when the pressure is on. One of the most intriguing aspects of Hearn's view is his comparison between Berlanga's situation and that of undefeated prospect Diego Pacheco, another rising star in Hearn's stable. Pacheco, fresh off a 6th-round knockout win over Maciej Sulecki, is on track to face the winner of the Canelo-Berlanga fight, potentially adding more stakes to this already high-profile bout. Hearn sees parallels between Pacheco's rise and Berlanga's opportunity, explaining that both fighters need these kinds of high-risk, high-reward challenges to truly test their mettle. He probably needs that friction fight, but you never know until you're in the deep end, Hearn said, reinforcing his belief that fighters like Berlanga must face the toughest competition to see what they're really made of.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, look, sooner or later, Canelo Alvarez will start to go in decline. Didn't look like it against Munguia, but I don't see any difference really between levels between Munguia and Berlanga, honestly.
In the end, Hearn's view on the Canelo versus Berlanga fight is one of cautious optimism. He knows that Canelo's experience and skill make him the clear favorite, but he also believes that Berlanga's hunger and heart could make this a much more competitive fight than people expect. For Berlanga, this is the chance of a lifetime, and Hearn is confident his fighter will make the most of it. Trainer Teofimo Lopez Sr., also known for his direct and no-nonsense approach, has also given a blunt assessment of Edgar Berlanga's chances against Canelo Alvarez in their upcoming fight. For Lopez Sr., the only way Berlanga can even hope to upset the odds on September 14th is by throwing caution to the wind and going for broke from the opening bell. Anything less, and he believes Berlanga won't last long against the seasoned Mexican superstar. Lopez Sr. holds nothing back when it comes to Berlanga's current skill level and readiness for a challenge as monumental as Canelo. I got nothing against Berlanga, but I feel this fight is just too fast for him, Lopez Sr. said in an interview. He's of the view that Berlanga should have waited a couple more years before stepping into the ring with a fighter of Canelo's caliber. There's no stopping Canelo right now, he emphasized, painting a grim picture for Berlanga's chances.
Saying I got nothing against Berlanga, bro, but I think that this fight is just too fast for him, you know what I'm saying? I think that he should have just waited.
One of the key points Lopez Sr. focuses on is the nature of Berlanga's development as a fighter. He suggests that Berlanga's career was perhaps managed more for spectacle than actual growth. According to Lopez Sr., the plan seems to have been to build up a flashy record that could secure a big money fight. But now Berlanga may be facing exposure on the grandest stage of his career. Some fans believe there was never any intention of trying to improve Berlanga, Lopez Sr. explained, implying that Berlanga could be in for a rude awakening against Canelo. Lopez Sr. is clear in his advice for Berlanga: don't try to outbox Canelo. Berlanga has got to go in there for broke, do what he says he was going to do, Lopez Sr. urged, stressing that Berlanga should abandon any thoughts of trying to box with Canelo. Instead, he must focus on landing heavy punches early. Lopez Sr. is well aware that trying to outbox Canelo would be futile. Canelo knows how to cut the ring really well. Those body shots are devastating, he added, highlighting the danger of Canelo's superior ring generalship and vicious body work.
And I think that he needs to go in there for broke. You cannot try to outbox Canelo. Canelo knows how to cut the ring really good. Those body shots are devastating.
For Berlanga, it's all or nothing. Every fighter has a puncher's chance, Lopez Sr. noted, but he isn't shy about admitting his skepticism that Berlanga will be able to land a knockout punch. I think the best chance Berlanga has got is to come in strong, come in hard, and be that monster he used to be back in the day, Lopez Sr. said, referring to Berlanga's earlier reputation as a knockout artist. However, Even with this approach, Lopez Sr. remains doubtful of Berlanga's ability to topple Canelo. Lopez Sr. is also critical of Berlanga's recent performances, including his bouts against Padraig McCrory, Jason Quigley, and Romer Alexis Angulo. These fights, according to Lopez Sr., didn't show the kind of progress needed for a fighter about to face someone like Canelo. He's too flawed and doesn't belong in the ring with a fighter like Canelo, Lopez Sr. stated flatly.
I'm tired of this shit, bro. You taking this shit too personal, bro. Fight my son. That's all we want. We want to fight the best. Let's go, baby. Even Canelo said it.
And again,
I'm gonna back off you, bro.
In terms of how he sees the fight unfolding, Lopez Sr. is confident that it won't last long. My prediction is it's not going to go past 7 rounds. Canelo by knockout, Lopez Sr. predicted. While he acknowledges that Canelo could potentially take his time and systematically break Berlanga down, he also believes that if Berlanga rushes the fight, Canelo could end it as early as within 3 rounds. Ultimately, Lopez Sr.'s view is clear. If Berlanga wants any chance of victory, he must go for the knockout right away. But even with that approach, Lopez Sr. doubts that Berlanga will be able to withstand Canelo's power and experience for long. Ryan Garcia, a former stablemate of Canelo Alvarez, is confident that his ex-training partner will have little trouble handling Edgar Berlanga when they clash on September 14th. Garcia, who has shared the gym with Canelo in the past, believes the fight won't go the distance, predicting an early night for the Mexican superstar. It won't even get to 8 rounds, Garcia said, clearly stating his belief that Berlanga is outmatched. From his time training alongside Canelo, Garcia has first-hand experience of the kind of intensity and skill Alvarez brings to the ring. Canelo is just on another level. He's been through every kind of fight, and there's nothing Berlanga can throw at him that he hasn't seen before. Garcia knows the mindset and training regimen that Canelo adopts when preparing for big fights. Having trained together under the watchful eye of Eddie Reynoso, Garcia was exposed to Canelo's relentless work ethic and sharp fight IQ. This familiarity gives him extra confidence in his prediction. I've seen Canelo's preparation up close. He's methodical, he's powerful, and he's always looking to break his opponent down. Berlanga is tough, but Canelo is going to overwhelm him. While Garcia respects Berlanga's heart and potential, he's quick to point out the gulf in experience between the two fighters. Berlanga has had some good wins, but he hasn't faced anyone like Canelo. The way Canelo targets the body, it's just brutal. I don't see Berlanga handling that for long, Garcia added.
Siguiente round. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
The 24-year-old lightweight star also hinted that Berlanga's aggressive style could play right into Canelo's hands. Berlanga is going to try and make it a war, but that's exactly what Canelo wants. He'll bait him in, and once Berlanga starts swinging wild, Canelo is going to counter him, and it'll be lights out, Garcia explained. Ultimately, Garcia is convinced that Canelo's power, precision, and experience will be too much for Berlanga, leading to an early knockout victory for the Mexican champion. Well, do you think this fight belongs to Canelo? Or do you think that Berlanga could surprise the whole world by putting Canelo down? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more updates. See you in the next one.